It was an emotional night last night here with all the Hall of Famers going in, but especially for Borje Salming, and they're doing something else again for him tonight. Your thoughts, Bert?
Well, it was fabulous watching him. I was watching it on TV, but I mean, just lots of memories when you see Borje up there, and it's such a well-deserved ovation for him. And you could see Daryl crying a little bit, and all of that was pretty special. I got to admit, because it brings you back to the '70s and brings you back to the times that they were the two best player, and Lanny was out there too, and the three best players that the Leafs had, and I was really glad for a while to be a part of that.
What are some of your Salming memories?
Oh well, you know, the fact that he could play 28 minutes a night. We didn't do ice times back then, but he could play 28 minutes a night or 30 minutes a night, and the next night do the same thing. He was in unbelievable condition for an athlete. And the one thing about Borje that you don't see too much now, he would block every shot that came his way. He would make perfect passes right on the tape, very Nick Lidstrom-like all the time. And when he wanted to go, he could go. And you know, there's one game in particular, that I was fortunate enough to get a hat trick, and he got 5 assists that night, and on every one of my goals. And but that was him. He was an incredible player. I mean, it's hard to describe in today's world what he would be like, or to compare him to somebody today.
He was fun off the ice too, to say the least.
I was his roommate for a while. Yes, I know that.
Back when he was I remember him sliding across the ice to block shots. That really wasn't done in the NHL back then, was it?
Not by superstars.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's the thing that made him different. They also, you know, with him and Ingy coming over, being the first two Swedes coming over, they were run by every North American guy, and he would just take it and he would dish it out when he could. But I mean, he'd never cried that, hey, listen, they're being unfair to me or anything else. He just went through it, and that's why the Toronto people loved him, and so warranted. I mean, he was great. He would be in a class by himself if he was in today's game.
Your starter tonight, Bruce?
Is Spencer.
Spencer Martin. What's the decision process there? And obviously he's played well for you.
That's the decision process, yeah.
What about Thatcher? You talked about it the other day, the fact that he's got to work his way through that now. Is it gotten to a case now where you have back-to-backs and it's the Leafs tonight and maybe Thatcher gets the net tomorrow, or he works more with...
Well, right now it's just, you know, I mean, he's working through some things. Like, I talked to him this morning about it, and I asked him if he was in a good place. He says he is. So, you know, I'm hoping when you're a quality goalie, like everybody knows that Demko's a quality goalie, that eventually it pops out and he gets that one game where he's outstanding, and that may lead to just him, you know, being normal for him. And I think a lot of it is confidence. Usually it always is anyway. And but I mean, the confidence in us of him getting back to normal is there. I mean, that's why he keeps going in all the time.
Mikheyev's speed is pretty apparent. How much did that play into the factor of putting him with Miller, with Tanner out?
Well, I mean, that really wasn't the thing. Is Petey and Hoggy are a good tandem. So I mean, instead of putting them together where they could succeed, hopefully, and Mikheyev, I thought, would be a good fit on that left side with Millsy and Best. So that's basically how it came about.
What's Ilya meant for you guys?
Well, I mean, he's added a speed dimension that we don't have, and you know, he's chipping in goals where I think he's well on his way to a 25-goal season, and you know, and more points than he's had in the past. So he does a lot of good things for us, and I think he, you know, because he missed a lot of training camp and that, he's just starting to get better.
Always good for you to come back and see family.
Oh yeah. I let my mom give me crap every now and again, so that's good to be here and let her do that.
With Martin being from Oakville and the path that he's taking to get here, are you happy for a guy to get a shot like this on this stage?
I'm always happy to see players happy, and I know what it felt like when I first came back home, and knew how excited my parents were, and my brothers and the family, and so, I mean, sometimes it can work in reverse, but I mean, hopefully that, I'm sure he's going to be excited as well.
What have you seen from the Leafs so far this season, especially in the pre-scout?
Well, I mean, they probably don't have the record that they want, but they're a great hockey club. That's you watch the guys that go on the ice and the ease of which they make great plays, and I mean they're just whether fortunate or unfortunate, I watch all their games and they're just good, and so you got to be aware. I mean, when it all starts turning for them, then they'll put a stretch together that's going to be really good. I just don't want it to start tonight.
Hughes and Pedersen just taking the option?
Just taking the option.
And you changed up your defense pairs of practice, but based on what I would read into the way that you did drills at that optional skate, it looked like you were maybe back to
I
more
was just
comfortable
playing
defense.
around,
Okay.
seeing what's, the comfortability of the players and that. And so, I mean, the one thing about defense, I've told Trent, I said, listen, if the forwards aren't going good, we move the forwards back and forth. Like, I mean, I'll put somebody else on a different line and that. I mean, you can do the same thing defensively. If one pairing doesn't look like they're having a good night, you can move somebody to help them and change it up a little bit.